Good morning, intuitives, witches, and seekers of, well, the left-handed path and any path, because this video is going to be for all interested in witchcraft. And what I want to talk about is the broom closet and why, when you reach a certain point on your path, whatever your path may be, and you've embraced the title of witch, you should come out of the broom closet. And I'll get into why. So in case you don't know what the broom closet is, the broom closet is a term used in the witchcraft community, which basically means you're in the closet, like, in the LBGTQ community. I usually say gay because that's just a tongue twister for me, no disrespect. I just have a hard time saying it. But, it's because for many, many, many centuries, and still to this day to a large extent, the word witch is a pejorative, and you fear the consequences, even though there aren't supposed to be consequences anymore to coming out and admitting you're a witch. People are very proud to admit their religious beliefs in other faiths that are deemed acceptable and status quo-y by, the all-powerful, all-knowing, all-respectable Old Boys Club, to which, if you are a member of, your actions are all excused because you are in the club. And if once you are in the club, you can use and abuse and vilify and manipulate, but all is done in the name of righteousness and status quoism. So you are given a pass. So don't want to get too far off on that tangent. Coming out of the broom closet means like you're opened about being a witch. And if you are serious about being a witch, you should, in most circumstances, there's always exceptions to everything, be open about who you are. And I'll get into that. You might be thinking, hey, nobody witch, why do you get to run your mouth about this? Well, being is that I was bullied and hazed at the Arlington County Fire Department, largely due to me being open about my, being a witch, and I wore a pentacle around my neck. Being is that that's, the main reason why I was targeted, and it ended up resulting in months of bullying and hazing and an investigation and retaliation that was never answered for, and a civil suit, news articles. I think given that I was persecuted for openly being a witch, that I have more right than most to run my mouth about it, so I'm gonna do it. Witchcraft, for one, it's about empowerment. Whatever path you choose, it's about empowerment. You're about seeking knowledge, seeking ascension, seeking to bend the rules of chance to get the things you want for whatever reason you want them, perhaps to help other people out of bad situations, spiritual enlightenment. There's all kinds of things that can call you to the path of the witch, whatever that path may be. But with empowerment, you should be empowered to express and be who you truly are. Like, let's be honest, even in today's world, if you're a witch, you're an outcast. It's by definition, you're on the fringes of society. It's always been that way. The craft calls to outcasts. It calls to those of us that aren't like the pushover, fall in line, accept the status quo types. Like, that's just not in general what a witch is like. So when you're called to the path and you start to get empowered by whatever you're learning in the craft, you should be pretty open about expressing who you are, because that could perhaps empower others who are dabblers, who are seekers, considering the craft, that are drawn to it but are afraid of the repercussions and the social acceptability of witchcraft, to actually say fuck it and embrace what they're being called to, whatever deity's calling them, ancestors, spirits of the land, what have you. But in the end, they're being called, and if they fully embrace that call and actually put the work in, they'll probably lead a much better life. They'll certainly feel more confidence, more assertion, be able to stand up for themselves, more empowerment. Staying in the broom closet kind of minimizes that, because it enforces the behavior that, it's not okay to be a witch, gotta keep that in secret. You can't, it's not okay to openly be a witch. You can Bible thump all you want, but, just to simply admit that you're a witch and You perhaps may be devoted to Diana or Pan or Hecate. Those are kind of acceptable. Now, when you get into, that you got a pact with Lilith, on the other hand, that's a different story. It's the queen of the damned, and people will come at you. People will perhaps fear you when they have no reason to, unless they're actively seeking to screw you over. And then, paybacks are a bitch. We are witches after all. But the broom closet's an outdated thing in my mind. We are, at least in the Western world, past the point where there are anti-witchcraft laws. I believe the last ones were actually in the UK, and they were repealed in the early 50s, I believe 1952. So coming out of the broom closet in itself is empowering, because you are saying, this is who I am, this is what I believe. I don't give a fuck what you think, important status quo and, clique and old boys club that I will never bend the knee to. And you may help others think the same way. You may help others be who they want to be, shed that skin and be who I am. Some people just don't understand, I'll dance with the devil in Pan kind of thing. A little witchcraft music for you. Anybody know who sings that? But, it really does make a difference when you fully embrace who you are, because otherwise witchcraft is also about authenticity. If you are authentically a witch, you should not have to apologize for that, no more than anybody else should have to apologize for who they authentically are. And staying in the broom closet, you're essentially living a lie, and you'll never be happy living a lie. You can probably maintain the lie for so long, but if you're going to suppress being a witch, what else are you suppressing? What else are you being a pushover about? What else are of your decisions, important decisions, with who you are, who you associate with, where you work, who you fall for, where you live, all those decisions, because, your religion's a pretty important decision. If you're going to let others decide your religion decision, what other decisions are you letting others decide? And are you even anywhere close to who you want to be and doing what you want to do? Or are you letting others make those decisions for you? That leads to misery and madness too. But, when you're open about being a witch, it's a little different, more empowered, because witches, we bend the rules of chance. We tap the universe, try to get what we need from different spirits, different deities, what have you. It's about living the most authentic life you can and doing whatever you can to achieve those goals, and and a lot of times helping others achieve theirs as well, or helping people find justice, or empowerment or enlightenment from bad situations. And yes, making people who deserve to pay for crimes that they perhaps got away with because of their connections and or money. You can't outrun a spell, especially if you don't know who's casting it. So, in my opinion, the broom closet is an outdated thing. I understand it for certain extreme circumstances, and I understand that if you're just a seeker and a dabbler and you're not fully sure if you're being called to be a witch, but being a witch anymore isn't something that should be done in secret. Now, I'm not saying expose, I don't tell people everything, or show those exactly what it means to be a witch, or your secrets of your spells or your evocations or anything like that. I'm just simply stating, coming out of the broom closet and admitting that you are a witch of some kind, and that is what you believe in, and that you do believe in magic. That is coming out of the broom closet. Now, if you don't reveal all your stuff, even though they're witches, especially maybe if they're on the same path as you. If they're not on the same path as you, even then they won't understand, especially if you're on the left-handed path. There's a lot about the left-handed path that people that aren't on the left-handed path don't understand, and it just scares the hell out of them, wrongfully so in most cases. So, my brothers and sisters of the craft, think to yourself, if you're in the broom closet, think about why. And if you are potentially in any danger, or if it's going to cost you a job or something, how wrongfully so, I suggest you come out and seek a lawsuit, as I did. But if you are in the broom closet simply because you're worried about, what will people think, and I'll be out of the clique and all that. Are you really sure you're a witch? Because, being a bit of an outcast and doing what we want and not caring what the status quo thinks is a part of being a witch. So think long and hard what's important to you. Think why you're afraid to come out of the broom closet, and think about what people who think they have power over you, if they actually do, and if they do, where that power derives from, and if they're overstepping their bounds. But think long and hard about like what the real consequences actually are and what people can actually do other than to clutch their pearls and say they don't approve. Yeah, given that it's October, I figured I'd get this video out. It's a good time to embrace your inner witch, if that's who you are, because Samhain is right around the corner, and don't forget to do your Samhain rituals. So, to my brothers and sisters, embrace who you are. Embracing being a witch and not giving a shit about who says what about it is quite empowering.